Hello everyone, my name is Giselle and I'm gonna talk about the Creek Indian War. So who were the Creek Indians exactly? The Creek Indians were indigenous peoples of the southern eastern part of the United States and northeastern border of Mexico. Their original homelands are what we now call Tennessee, all of Alabama, Georgia, and part of Florida. The Creeks or Muskogee, as they were called in their indigenous language, were a grouping of many different tribes ruled by one Miko or Creek chief. Creeks were divided into two groups, the Upper Creeks and the Lower Creeks, also known or called as the Red Sticks. Upper Creeks lived in towns and villages in Alabama, while the Lower Creeks resided in western Alabama and southern areas of Georgia. Some of the causes of the Creek War was that the National Council accepted yearly payments from the U.S. government in exchange for their hunting lands and lowered their debts. As a result, hunting and trading, which was the foundation of the Creek's economy, dramatically declined, forcing the Creeks to be more dependent on American economy, which was basically agriculture and exportation of goods. The Creek Indian War was a regional war over land, freedom, and independence that the Creeks, the Upper Creeks, fought under the leadership of William Weatherford against the United States and the Lower Creeks, also known as the Red Stick Creeks, who sided with the United States in hopes to keep some of their land. The United States was led into war by General Andrew Jackson. So who was the General Jackson who led the U.S. military into these wars? Andrew Jackson. He was born on March 15, 1767 in Waxhaw, an area between the border of North and South Carolina. He then moved to Tennessee where he purchased a property known as the Hermitage and became an affluent slave-owning planter. He became General of the United States Army. He served in both houses of the United States Congress. He was considered a national hero as he won many wars including the Creek War, Battle of New Orleans, among many others. He was the seventh United States president. As president, Jackson wanted to eradicate corrupt aristocracy, advance the rights of the common man, and preserve the Union. He was the only president to completely pay off the national debt. He died June 8, 1845 in Nashville, Tennessee due to heart failure. As a result of the war, the Creek Indians lost the war against the United States regardless of which side they were on. All Creek land was taken and seized by the United States. General Jackson called on all the remaining Creeks desiring peace to meet with him and give up whatever was left of their land. So here is a video, a short one, perhaps better explaining how the war took place and what really happened during that time.
Indians with similar cultural patterns associated together in what was known as the Creek Confederation. There were approximately 18,000 Creeks in a large area that was bounded by the Tennessee. Some of the younger Creeks had been influenced by Tecumseh, who had paid a visit to them. The Americans built a number of forts along the Creek border. On August 30th, 1813, the Creeks, under the leadership of William Weatherford, known as Red Eagle, attacked the fort. They were able to enter the open gate of the fort. After a fight that lasted the whole afternoon, they had captured the fort and killed 400 of the 500 persons there, including women and children. The Creeks lost 300 warriors in the attack, and of course doomed themselves to severe retribution. General Jackson then led the Tennessee militia to attack the Creek. Their first target was a hostile Creek village of Tallushatchee. Jackson detached General Coffee to destroy it. On November 3, 1813, Coffee encircled the village, killing all 186 warriors in the town, while losing only 5 men killed and 41 wounded. Next, in a short battle where Jackson came to the aid of the friendly Creek village of Talladega, 290 Creeks were killed. Jackson was now forced to move to defensive positions, as nearly all of his men returned to Tennessee, calculating that their enlistments were up. General Claiborne of Georgia led a force all the way to the Creek Holy Ground. He reached there on December 23, 1813. In a brief battle, he scattered the warriors and burned down 260 houses. But a shortage of supplies forced him to leave the Creek homeland. After Jackson received a new group of 800 recruits, he decided to move forward once again. For the first time, the Creeks decided to attack first. At daylight on the morning of January 22, 1814, near the town of Emmakfa, the Creek struck. The attack was eventually broken, but not before a number of Tennesseans fell, including Jackson's brother-in-law. General Coffee was also wounded. Jackson had no choice but to withdraw. During the withdrawal, the Indians attacked once again on January 24th, but were once again driven off. Now Jackson waited for reinforcements. When they arrived, he had an army of nearly 4,000. He thus began his advance to the Creek Holy Ground. The Creek warriors had taken up defensive positions in an earthworks built around Horseshoe Bend of Tallapoosa River. Jackson saw it for what it was, a deadly slaughterhouse for the Indians, and ordered an immediate attack. Jackson first fired cannons at the camp, followed by an attack by Coffee's men. Before long, 700 warriors were dead, at the cost of 26 of Jackson's men. The way was open to the Holy Ground. When he arrived, Red Eagle surrendered.
How does this relate to what we're reading in class? It reminds me of how basically everyone made their fortunes back in the day. For example, Atticus's father, John Hale, from To Kill a Mockingbird, made his wealth by slave owning and having or owning a plantation, the same way General Andrew Jackson became affluent, and the same way everybody in Macomb County, where the book took place, gained their status, their power and status in society. That's it, folks. Thank you for watching.